Hello guys, Jared here again, and I'm going to do a review of a movie that I've just bought and just watched. It's General Spanky, yes, the Our Gang or Little Rascals movie, basically. And yeah, so if you followed the channel, you know I haven't been buying like DVDs or Blu-rays recently because I've been saving up money for for the aligners for my teeth, and I have got the right amount of money now. I got the right amount at the end of June, but I haven't got the next dentist appointment until the 3rd of August. So yeah, but I have got the right amount of money for that now, and I did get to spend money on some other things. I have also ordered a Blu-ray, which hasn't come yet, but yeah, I've got this already. So yeah, basically this is if you see on the back, it says the only feature-length Our Gang movie. If you don't know, Our Gang, or it's also known as The Little Rascals, a series of short films that were made from 1922 to 1944. This is the 100th anniversary of it this year, and so yeah, it was about a group of kids and stuff, and they change the kids every few years because obviously they get too old. But yeah, this is the only feature film, and yeah, they changed the kids but I think the kids in this are probably like the most popular group of kids. Although unfortunately, this one they only really focus on three of the kids from the shots, which are three kids it focuses on are Spanky, Alfalfa, that one there, and Buckwheat, who's that one there. So yeah, I think for that reason, it's kind of a disappointment that they only really focused on three of the kids from the Our Gang. But yeah, so yeah, this is an American DVD, but it's region free, so it works perfectly fine on my Blu-ray player. So yeah, and basically, Hal Roach, who made the shots in this film, he kind of felt like it didn't really quite work. He wasn't satisfied with the film, because Hal Roach also did the Laurel and Hardy films, which I'm also a big Laurel and Hardy fan, and they did many feature films that were just as beloved as their short films. So I guess he tried to do that with Little Rascals as well, but he felt it didn't quite work out, and I guess that's why they only did this one feature film. And I mean, I enjoyed the film, but I can see why it's kind of a disappointment for that reason. And there's also stuff like some of the stuff with I enjoyed the stuff with the kids, but not so much the stuff with the adults. And like there is some stuff that's not really politically correct by today's standards. So yeah, like the film starts off where it's on like this boat, and like Spanky works, and basically the film's set in the American Civil War, whereas like the shorts were set in what was then modern day and set in a neighborhood. And I feel like maybe, they could have done a Little Rascals feature film that was just set in the neighborhood, but I guess it was kind of like with Laurel and Hardy, like where a lot of Laurel and Hardy's short films had more of a suburban setting, but their feature films were set in like other locations, although there are exceptions. Like I think Sons of the Deserts, which is considered one of their best feature films, that had more of a suburban setting. But yeah, so yeah, it's set in the American Civil War. It's we start off on a boat where Spanky is this kid who works as a shoe like shiner, and in this movie, Spanky's full name is Spanfield George Leonard, which is interesting. Obviously, the kid actor, his real name was George McFarland, and like they have like black slaves on there, and mostly adults, but you have Buckwheat on there, who's one of the black kids, that one there, and he's on the back of this right there. You don't see him that much on there, but yeah, he doesn't like really have an owner, and like there's a scene like he's overhears like these like slave owners like talking about like any slave who doesn't have a master deserves to be shot, and after he hears that, very sad, and walks around being sad, and that was rather like emotional and very sad scene. I thought that was done very well, actually. So yeah, like, and then him and Spanky escape from the boat. They swim away and go on land, and portraying like the slave owners obviously is portrayed as being mean, which makes sense, because obviously slavery wasn't a good thing. But then they go into like this mansion, and there's like a rich guy there, and he like owns slaves, and he's really nice. And like Spanky asks him, before he sees Buckwheat, the guy who works there, before he sees Buckwheat, Spanky asks him, if he'd want any more slaves, and he said, no, I've got enough. Yeah, yeah, and then, but when he meets Buckwheat, he's nice to him, and portraying like slave owners like that, doesn't really work. I mean, they portrayed the slave owners on the boat as being mean, which makes sense. But then this rich guy, Marsh is his name, portraying him as nice, it seems very outdated, But I did really enjoy like when like Spanky and Buckwheat finally got to land, and like before they got to the mansion, when they're just walking through the woods together and they're talking, I really liked their friendship there. That was really nice, seeing them together. And even though I get why this movie can be kind of politically incorrect, seeing like kids of different races, just be friends is really nice. So when they're like staying in this mansion, they come across like a group of kids, who are wearing like the war like outfit, like the army outfits, and the group is led by Alfalfa, who's a kid from the shorts. And Spanky, Alfalfa, and Buckwheat are the only kids who it really focuses on, and that's really kind of a disappointment, because they had lots of other kids in the shorts, and it would have been cool to like have more focus on them in this movie. You do see other kids. I mentioned Alfalfa leads a group of kids, and I did recognize in the group of kids there was Jerry Tucker, who's often in the shorts, and another one of the kids in his group is Harold Switzer, who is actually the brother of Carl Switzer, who was Alfalfa. So it's pretty interesting. I think out of the adult actors in the movie, I think the only one I really recognised was Rosina Lawrence. There's her name there. So she was often in the shorts. She played a teacher called Miss Lawrence, and that's pretty interesting seeing her there. It does have a lot of more focus. I mean, it focuses on the kids a lot, but it has focus on the adult characters, and I like the stuff with the kids, but the stuff with the adults I found quite boring. A lot of the shorts didn't really focus much on the adults. I mean, some shorts had more focus on adults than others. Some focused a bit on adults, and other shorts had little to no focus on the adults. But this, I think, kind of does have a bit too much focus on the adults, to be honest, But I still do really enjoy these kids' chemistry. Like, obviously, as the title suggests, like Spanky becomes like the general in this like group of kids, which is very cool, and I like seeing that. So if you're a fan of Our Gang or Little Rascals, I'd recommend checking this out. It is interesting. Just know it's not quite as good as the shorts, and also know that there is stuff in it that's not really politically correct by today's standards. And if you've never seen the shorts, if you've never seen Our Gang before, I'd recommend starting with the shorts. They're a lot better than the movie, and if you really do like these, you could check out this movie as well, which is an interesting curiosity. I'd like to hear what other Little Rascals fans think of this movie. There's a Facebook group I'm in. It's Our Group. Our Group, like Our Gang, but a group. Our Group, the fans of the original Little Rascals. And I know two guys in that group who have YouTube channels, great channels. I watch them, and they've seen my stuff. Matt Hawes and Riley Owen. They're obviously big Little Rascals fans, so I'd love to hear what they think if they've seen this movie. I know also a guy who watches my stuff called Movie Edge, or Mike is his real name. I know he's also a fan of Our Gang, so I'd love to hear what you think, Mike, if you've seen this movie. So thanks for watching my review, and bye.